What if Deku was Spawn? Sorry. No, that won't be coming out yet. What if Deku was my 3 favorite Marvel characters, and this is my drawing of Spawn. Those are the shorts that I'm wearing right now. That's from my camera roll. But, Miles Morales, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes. But, so you're wondering, hey, how will this happen? I'll tell you how. So, in the events of Avengers Endgame, these 3 are all there, and they're fighting. And Thanos, he just erases everyone. Yeah, he erases everything, including himself. So they can all live in the void. Don't worry. Marvel Universe completely wiped out. Bada bing, bada boom, done. That's never coming into play again. But, so these 3, they travel through, like, an interdimensional loop. And like, Deku, he's, like, being born, and, like, they all 3 go into him, because, like, they're following each other, and, like, Spawn's like, I'm gonna reincarnate in this kid, and they're like, we'll do it too. Just for shits and giggles. And he's like, alright, why not? And so, they all go into him, and, like, Deku, he immediately uses the Ghost Rider form, and, like, he looks like this. But minus the jacket and the dope clothing. The dope clothing? Give me a minute, I'll get to that. But he just immediately turns into Ghost Rider, and, like, he's like, what? And, like, he's talking, and they're all like, hey, he's talking, and, like, his body grows and becomes more muscular because of Spawn and how built he is. So, yep, he gets more muscular. And sorry. And so, like, he has a muscle and stuff, and, like, he realizes, oh, I have a creation quirk. And, like, he can call upon Spawn stuff at any time. And so, like, he equips Spawn stuff on accident, and he looks like that. And he creates, like, this little back panel thing, and, like, he puts it on his back, and, like, it injects 5 shots into him. It was the spinal fluid of a guy with a muscle enhancement quirk. Muscular. No, wasn't muscular. Sorry. I need him for something later. Sorry, no I don't. It's not muscular. He takes... So, there's the spinal fluid of 5 people. Todoroki, who was just born. So, he has his fire and ice quirk. He has Kirishima's hardening as well. They also have their quirks, by the way. He has a super strength quirk. A super speed quirk. And a really, really good regeneration quirk. Like, he's Deadpool level regeneration times, like, 3 million. So, like, cut off his head, he just tossed that thing around like a yo-yo, just playing with it, and like he'll throw it to you and be like, hey, hold that for me. But yeah, basically, he can't be killed. But yeah. So Deku, he and he also has like 2 little things for clothing, cause like they gave him all of their memories, and like while he was being born, like when he had first came out. I probably should have said this first, but so one second in the real world is 500 million years in the mindscape, is what I'm going to say. And so he like goes in there and he's like, who are you guys? And Robbie's like, hey kid, we're kind of your, I guess, father. And he's like, oh, well, hi, Dad. And like Miles is like panicking, like, hey, hold up. I ain't no dad, I'm only 16. Hold up. Like, and Miles is wearing this. And Spawn's just like, oh my god, am I going to have to put up with this? Why did I have to be stuck with these now? Dear God. Because, like, we all know how serious Spawn is. Like, he's just not one to play. Like, he just mess with me, you gonna get a cat bust in your head. Just play with me if you want to, nigga. Like, he that type of person. And if you're watching this video, you probably already know that. But, so, he's like, alright, kid, we're gonna train you to use all of our powers. And he's like, powers? Okay, sure, teach me, I wanna learn. And so Spawn's like, I'll take care of the kid first. And so Spawn's just training with him. And like he learns how to create Spawn's chains and use his cape and call upon the Spawn suit, is what I'm just gonna call it. And then he trains with Robbie, because like when he was training with Spawn, it was like, get serious, I'll get your ass beat. Like, it's like, don't play with me or you're gonna get wrecked. And like, so when he's not playing with Robbie, training with Robbie, he, like, Robbie's all loose, and he like, hey, what's poppin', been loco? Cause like, I'm gonna say like, they can create stuff in the mindscape, so like, they were watching like every single football game. Like, and they like, my god, the Chiefs held the freaking championship for 35 freaking years. My god. And then went on for another 75 3 years later. My god. Niggas wild. But just my personal speculation on the Super Bowl. Win. But so he's just like really loose, and like he learns how to use his quirk, because he like teaches him how to use his own quirk, because Robbie figured out what quirks were. It's like he has him create this, and he's like, you're gonna be nice and suited with this. And like he creates the spinal thing in here, so like he basically can switch between this jacket and this stuff, and this stuff. And so he is just training with him, learning how to use his chains, his fire, and all that stuff. And like then he goes to train with Miles, and like Miles is like, okay, kid. And so like they train and stuff, like how to use his webs, how to use his bioelectricity, how to turn invisible, how to absorb electricity. And like how to fight. And like they all teach him how to fight. And like by the end of the 5 million years, ow. Sorry, I just pulled a muscle. That hurts. Like that legit hurts. But he can beat them all at once. And like he can beat them eyes closed, blindfolded, 2 hands tied behind his 2 hands and 1 leg tied behind his back. Just with headbutts and kicks. Like he like slightly taps his toe on his shoe, and like he wearing the Jordans. Like he basically wearing the Jordans with, or no, he's just wearing here's my special combination. So he's wearing like the Spawn suit, but no cape thing, and he's wearing like a hoodie over it, and like that, and then baggy shorts. So like what he's wearing as clothes under it, like for his bottom waist half, look like this. So like from the bottom half down, look like that, but instead of green, it's red. Cause I feel like it. Oh, and his hair is black. So like basically his hair is Ozaru Wrath Broly. But so they finish and they're like, we've taught you everything. Now you must go into the real world. And like they had explained to him that they were from a different universe and everything that happened and all this and da. And so like they trained him in smarts too, cause Spawn, before he died, he was a smart nigga. Like smart nigga. But he just goes and, but anywho, back to real world. And so he's just like, oh, hi mom. And she's like, and like she chuckles a little bit, laughs, and she pulls one of the doctor's clothes and she says, get rid of him. Cause like she thinks of him as a demon, cause like he looking like this right now. And like then she gives birth to 2 other children, Izumi and Hisha. Izumi, and what should I call her? And Izu. Or Izuku. And she gives Deku the name of Deku. And he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, put him in an orphanage. I don't want anything to deal with him. I don't want that demon growing up around my children. And so, like, they take him to an orphanage. And they're like, kid, can you stop using your quirk? Oh, this isn't my quirk. I have a creation quirk. And he's like, but your skull's literally on fire. And he's like, you can touch it. It won't hurt you. And, like, I'm gonna say, like, one of the other dudes, like, they touch it. And he's like, it isn't burning me. It's really cold, in fact. And he's like, really? And he's like, yeah. It's like, he touched it, and he's like, you're right, my hand's freezing cold. Like, brr. But, so, Deku, here you go. And they're like, sorry that we have to put you in an orphanage, kid. She just didn't want you. Sorry. And he's like, it's alright. I always have the 3 demons in my head. And they're like, 3 demons? And he's like, yeah. That's what I call my friends that are in my head. You see, there's Ghost Rider, Spawn, and Miles. And they're like, why is the last one called Miles? And he's like, because that's his name, Miles. And I feel so bad for this kid, because, like, they think he has split personality disorder, in which he will have. Give it a minute. And so, I'm going to say that Todoroki, like, what Endeavor does to his kids, if, they're imperfect or deemed failures by him, he sends them to an orphanage. So, he sends his daughter, Shota Todoroki. Shota, you know where I'm going with this, to the place. And so, like, she's a baby. And, like, Deku, he upgraded his height, because that's just something he can do, edit his body. So, like, he edited his height. And so, right now, he's about, so Spawn's 6'9". Forget, he's 6'9". No, not a snitch like 6'9". Heck no, I'd kill a nigga if he were. But, by the way, why has nobody killed that nigga? Explain. But, anywho. So, Deku, here you go. And, like, he's sitting down and stuff. And, like, he's creating bioelectricity from his hands. And then, like, adding a little bit of fire to it. And then a little bit of ice. And, like, this one kid's like, oh, you have a flashy quirk. Big whoop. And, like, they see how muscular he is. And they're like, your muscles are probably just for show. You're probably really weak. And Deku just goes, nigga, come on and try. Or no, he doesn't say anything. So, like, they just continue to wail on him. Because, like, he doesn't talk to people who he deems unworthy of talking to. So, like, they just sitting there wailing on him with their quirks. And, like, sorry, the head mistress, or whoever, she doesn't like him. So, like, she starts using her quirk. And her quirk is a wind quirk. And it's really, really strong. Because she's also the second place hero as well. But so, Deku, he goes and, like, he lets himself bleed out. And, like, this is, like, when he's 5, by the way. Should have said time skip. Sorry. But, so Shota, she's 5, and she's like, what's wrong? Why would you let them do that to you? And he's like, he's just looking at her. And, like, he gets up, brushes himself off, and he has, like, 7 holes in him. Because, like, this one kid had the bullet quirk. Yeah, that one kid is the gun guy from, the USJ. What the heck is this right here? Darn it, that's my shoe. No wonder. But anyhow, so he goes, and he had basically riddled Deku's body with bullets. And so Deku, he brushes all the blood off of him, and, like, he then puts on this, or no, he was already, or no, he was basically, like, in a, he was in Goku Black's gi, or no, he was in my gi. Basically, he was in a gi that looked exactly like mine. Skin tight undershirt. And then with the gi overlapping on top. And by the way, there's a very special what if coming out soon for whenever I hit 50 subs. So Deku, he just puts this on, cause, like, the thing, it, like, holds all of his clothes. So, like, he can switch from this to this in an instant. But, and the gi from in an instant. And, like, Deku, he knows all fighting styles. So, like, he just switches to that. And, like, he walks out of the, so he goes to the front desk and he says, hey, I'm gonna leave, you guys don't have to worry about me. And he puts it on a piece of paper, and he shows it to them, and they're like, good riddance. And he just waves by, and, like, Shota, she, like, goes up to him, and she's like, don't leave. And he looks at her, pats her on the head, and just leaves. Like, he dips. Let me show you what Shota looks like. she basically, her hair looks like this. Like, she'll look like this when she gets older. And that'll be what her hero suit look like. And, like, she doesn't care about using her fire or anything. Like, she knows that, Endeavor is her father. And, like, she's proud of it. Because that means, because in her head, she really doesn't care. Because she's technically the daughter of the number 3 hero. So, like, she's proud. Like, a little. She don't show it, though. But, so Deku, he walk out. And so, like, it's night. And so, like, crimes happening and all this stuff. And so, like, Deku, like, he just perched on the roof. Or not, he's in Spider-Man's outfit, or Miles Morales' outfit. And so, like, he just chilling, drinking a smoothie. And, like, he tan. He looked like he black. So, basically, it's kind of weird because I'm black and I look white. And I've gotten, like, slandered for saying that I'm black. And by the way, if you ever do this to a person, like, if the person, like, is generally joking around and you know them as a jokester, then yeah, I get it. You would be like, nah, you ain't. But somebody like me, who don't play around with niggas, and if, like, I say I'm black because y'all questioning why I'm saying nigga. Sorry, I burped. But, questioning why I say nigga, I'm gonna give it to you straight up. And if you're gonna think I'm joking, I am just gonna be mad. I'll talk to you for a minute. Like, that's how this works. Because just because somebody look like they different, don't mean that they ain't the same race as you. Like, anyhow, sorry for a little side tangent, but those are words that need to be spoken. But, so, he's just perched like that, and, like, these villains, like, he sees this villain with a mask, and it's all for one, walk into, like, this shady bar place, and so, like, he goes invisible, walks in behind him, and he's just making sure, like, to dodge all the people, because, like, there's a bunch of people, and, like, Dobby, he walk in, and, like, he bumps into, like, nothingness. He's like, that's weird. And, like, he sees this small, like, blue tint. Like, just this small smidge of blue. And he's like, somebody's here, guys! And so, like, they're all on the defensive, like, where? And Deku just says, well, shit. I was planning to have it be peaceful, but you pushed me to my limits. So, goes into Ghost Rider form, puts bioelectricity on his hands and forearms, and starts wilding on niggas. Like, and, like, he uses Kirishima's hardening. So, yeah. His fist is hard. Like, pop, 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 pop. And, like, the man ain't even trying. Like, and, like, he gets all for when he, like, nigga, you ready to die? And everyone's like, spare me, spare me. He like, alright. And so like he walk away, and like he stabbed him through the heart with like a quirk that allows him to make swords out of his hands. He's like, haha, never underestimate a villain. And Deku, he just turned around, and he like, you could have at least cut my head off, made this more entertaining. And he like, what? You should be dead. And he's like, I don't die. I'm death. And just rips him apart. And like, by that time, there were noise complaints. And so like, Aizawa, he went over to check what's out. And like, he just see this man from the back just rip apart All For One. And like, he took All For One's quirk, so now he has All For One. And so he's just like, oh, you're that hero, Eraserhead. Well, I just spared you some work. And so he's like, peace. And so like, he tried. And like, he walked by him, and like, I was stunned at the sight, and he's like, you're a vigilante. And so like, he like bounds him with his scarf, and he's like, nigga, you really think this gonna do something? Like, please, this ain't nothing. And he's like, it's enough to hold you in place. And he's like, nigga, no it ain't. And he just proceeds to walk, dragging Aizawa with him. He's like, nah, nigga, you won't come with me. Like, and he's like, alright, isn't there like a pro heroes meeting or something that you can call? And he like, yep, yes sir. So like, he called a meeting, like, emergency pro hero meeting now. And they're like, what? And he's like, just do it now. Let's all meet at UA. And so like, the top 50 heroes meet at UA, and like, they're just waiting outside because like, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so like, President Mike comes back with the food, and he's like, all right, here everybody. And so like, Deku, he just walk up and he like, hey. And like, he leaning against like the porcelain gate or whatever, and they're like, are you a villain? And he like, no, I won't try. I'm not gonna try to be one just cause mama call me one. Like, you think pro heroes would have a little respect? I mean, I brought y'all back, y'all lost puppy. Trying to stop me from killing villains. And like, they hear killing villains, and they're like, how many villains did you kill? What kind of people did you kill? And like, All Might, he rushes at him because he ain't got the injury yet. It's like, this prime All Might. Deku, he just popped the nigga in his chin. Just pop. He gives the nigga the injury. And so like, he goes into this like skeletal form, and they're like, All Might, what'd you do? And he like, gave the nigga an injury. You're welcome. And like, they're like, oh my god, we shouldn't mess with him. He beat the #1 hero. And like, Endeavor, he just steps up, tries to incinerate him, and he's like, nigga, do you not notice that my skull is on fire? And he like, wait a damn minute. You're her father, aren't you? You're Shota's father. And so, like, he gets, like, really mad. And so, like, he basically has, he equips Spawn's outfit. And they're like, huh? And, like, he has, like, the flames coming out of his eyes. And, like, his hands are, like, crackling with red electricity. And he's like, how could you do that to your own daughter? And he just starts going ham on the man. Like, he breaks both of his arms. Like, he rips both of his arms off. Like, breaks both of his legs. Breaks all of his ribs. Punctures his lungs. And gives the man head trauma. And then you're like, oh, wait, that's pretty tame for Spawn. No. Just wait a second. I haven't got through describing. Rips out the man's guts. Feeds them to him. Cuts open one of his blood vessels. The one with the most blood. Squirts it down. He's like, here, wash that down. And then he rips him in half. And they're all like, you're a villain, aren't you? And he's like, no. Keep calling me one and I'll become one, though. And so he brings back Endeavor from the dead. And he's like, I died to this guy. And he's like, guy? Nigga, I'm a kid. I'm only 5. And they're like, wait, you're only 5? Bullshit. And he like, nope. I'm 5 years old. And I still fold all y'all asses. And like Midnight, she like run up to him and like she feeling on his body. And he like, big on thought. Just dragon spin roundhouse kick. She go flying. He like, back up thought. And Deku, he just look at Endeavor. And like, he saw the Endeavor. So he just says, you're lucky she looks up to you. You're lucky that she believes you dropped her off at that orphanage for a reason. Or else I would have killed you. You damn scum. And so he just walks away and drops out of the Spawn form. And they're like, hey, would you like to go to UA? And he says, in about 10 years or so. I already know every fighting style known to man. I'm already stronger than you all. Quite simple. And they're like, we bet you can go up against all of us at full strength. And so, like, he rewind all night. And he just like, I bet. And like, he touches the ground and he rewinds the time of day. And they're like, huh? And so, like, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And they're like, oh, you just reset it by an hour, I guess. He like, yup. So he just straight up goes, you all come at me. And like, Nezu, he is watching, like sitting from a lawn chair. He's just watching this kid beat all the pro heroes. And he like, wait a minute. So on SOS to the top 300 heroes. And so they all come in and like, they're like, alright, what's the problem? And he's like, all y'all niggas against me. Cause I need to show y'all that I can mollywop any of y'all niggas. Cause y'all just be talking trash on a daily basis. And like, you don't even go into Ghost Rider. He just is using his spider powers and just bop 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 bop, and like they all need immediate medical attention. And so Nezu's like clapping and stuff. He's like, who lost their pet dressed up in a tuxedo? And like Nezu's like pounding on his leg like, how dare you call me a pet? And he's like, don't worry, just picks him up, starts petting him. Yeah, like, good gerbil thing. And like Nezu, he like, wow. Wow. But, like, he feel really warm doing it. And he's like, alright, you're gonna come to UA in about 10 years. He says, alright, thanks. I'll take a seat in class 1A. So, skip 10 years. Deku at this point is... what do I feel comfortable with this height? 9'10". 9'10" will be his height, because that's Broly's height. And, like, they see what he looks like normally. And so, like, Deku, normally, he's as buff as Spawn. And so, like, he just walking around one day. And they're like, hey, you wanna come see the recommendation exam? And he's like, why not? And so, like, he walks to the recommendation exam, and, like, Shota, she got readopted by Endeavor because Deku told him to, or else he was gonna kill him permanently. And he said, stop treating your kids like weapons. I'm already stronger than All Might. So if you keep treating your kids like weapons, I'll show you what a real weapon will do. And so, like, she grew up with Endeavor, like, for 10 years. And so, like, she gets the recommendation. And, like, Deku, he's yawning. And, like, he had created, like, a, futon. And so, like, he was just like, alright, I'm gonna take a short nap, my dude. Like, give me a minute. Darn it, where'd it go? Oh, that's where it went. I'm sorry. I'm talking about, so, like, I have this little, accessory thing that goes on my charger. And, like, it slid off. And so I was wondering where it went. And it was, like, halfway down my charger. Because, like, I have a really big iPhone charger. There we go. But, so, Deku, he had, like, saw her, but, like, he really didn't think it was her. Because, again, she looking thick. And she's like, I remember you. You're Deku, right? And he's like, huh? And, like, he just now realizes that was her. And he's like, oh, hey, Shota. And, like, in this deep, grovelly voice. And she's like, wow, I've never heard you speak. And he's like, whatever. You look like you've been well. And she says, yeah, you too. Are you a teacher at UA? He says, no. I just beat the crap out of every hero the day that remember the day that I left the orphanage? And she goes, yeah. That day, I killed a lot of villains. And, like, all for one, I'm going to say he actually survived with a, immortality quirk. And, like, he brought back everybody else. And so, like, they all have been training, by the way. Just to, yeah. Because we wouldn't have a story without, drama. But, so, Deku, he just gets up off the sofa, hugs her and says, it's been a while, hasn't it? And she says, yeah, But back to your story. He's like, anyhow, killed a bunch of villains. The hero, the eraser hero, Aizawa, well, Eraserhead, the guy who can erase quirks. Kind of got to the place because there was a disturbance call, and I kind of basically mollywopped every single freaking hero. And she's like, every hero, including my dad? He like, yup. And she's like, oh, that's really cool. And he's like, whatever. And he just goes, sits back down, and she gets first. And like, he's like, good job. And she's like, hey, do you want to come over and watch a movie or something? And he's like, why not? I have nothing better to do with my time. So Deku, he shows up at the Todoroki house, and Rei opens the door, and she's like, Todoroki is Shota's mom, by the way. In the original canon, she got sent to a mental hospital for splashing the hot water on Todoroki. But, yeah. So, she opens the door and she's like, oh, Shota, is this your boyfriend? And she's like, no, shut up, Mom. And Deku's like, if she doesn't want me to, then I don't have to. Like, if she wants me as a boyfriend, she can. I don't really care. Like, we can do whatever. I truly don't care. And like, Ray's like, oh, see, he wants to be your boyfriend. And she's like, do you really want to? And he's like, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. When we were 5 years old, I kind of had a crush on you. And she was like, I knew it. That's why you always protected me from the bullies. And he's like, yep. That and they were assholes. And she's like, yeah, they were. And so, Deku, he goes and he's watching a movie, and like, Endeavor comes home. Sorry, I'm tired. But, Endeavor comes home, and Deku, he just, like, he fell asleep on Todoroki's lap, and, like, she's just been petting his head, and, like, he's like, why is he here? Or, no, he's like, why is he here? Because he mellowed after the ass beating. But, But he's like, why is he here? And Ray's like, all jumpy and excited and happy, and, like, he's taking a drink. And, like, she's like, he's our daughter's boyfriend. And, like, he hears boyfriend, and he's just, what? And, like, this wakes up Deku, and he's like, what? Is it time to get up already? And she's like, afraid so. My dad just came home. And he's like, oh, alright. Kisses her on the forehead, and he's like, alright, I'll see myself out. He's like, love you. I'll see you at UA. And so, he just walks out. And, like, he ain't wearing that. He's wearing, like, the hoodie and the Jordans. He's wearing like a normal shirt under it. And like he did vigilante work for 10 years that he wasn't at UA. So like they know him as Shapeshifter is what they call him. And like they know he is a vigilante, but they know he works with the heroes. So like they think he's a hero. What the heck? Sorry. My eyes. They hurt so bad. Worse than eyes always. But so yeah, they know I'm a shapeshifter and they know like he works with heroes. So he's low-key kinda famous. But yeah. And so like Endeavor, like he grabs his shoulder and he's like, "Why are you dating my daughter? Was beating my ass not enough?" And he's like, "No, I had a crush on your daughter while we were at the orphanage. So I decided, why not tell her? And plus, she liked me." And so he walks away. And so next day, it's the normal entrance exam for everybody. Sorry. So everything's going off without a hitch. Nothing's wrong. And like he's just in the one like visual room, and like he sees a rock is about to get crushed by 3 0-pointers this time. It looks like he teleport in front and just like made a wall of bioelectricity. And it just disintegrates the 0-pointers. And they're like, "Hey, it's Shapeshifter." And like, I'm gonna say Ida runs up to him and is like, "Hey, you're a Shapeshifter. You should be in jail. You're a vigilante." And he's like, "Nigga, step to a real one and you gonna get your ass beat." You feel me? He's just like, "You don't know what it's like to be raised on the streets, you impotent rich boy." And so Deku, like, she says thank you, and he's like, yeah, whatever. Heals her leg and just walks away. And he's like, "Oh, hey, Granny." And like, they hear Granny, and they're like, "Wait, Shapeshifter is your grandson?" And she's like, "Dear no, he isn't my grandson or my son. We're not related in the slightest. He's an orphan, but we've all known him long enough to be called his parents." And like, I'm gonna say like the entrance exam is like wide broadcast, and like Izumi and Izuku were there. And when I mean Izuku, not Deku. Different person. Okay. But yeah, different person. So he goes, And, like, he walks up to them and he's like, "Hey, you pampered brats, how's Mom treating you?" And they're like, "Huh? You know our mother. And why'd you call that her Mom?" And he's like, "Well, we do share the same mother." And she's like, "Wait, so you're Deku?" And, like, they all hear Deku, and he's like, "Yep. Got a problem? Take it up with the whore." And, if you're wondering what Izumi and Izuku's quirks are, is... So, Izumi, she has one for all, and, fire quirk. No, she has a really, really powerful telekinesis quirk. And so, yeah, she has one for all and a really, really powerful telekinesis quirk. Izuku, he has a, strength multiplier quirk. And a copy quirk. He can copy others' appearances, but not their quirks. But, yeah. But, yeah. So, they, like, try to fight him and stuff, and they're like, "How dare you call our mother a whore?" And he's like, she's my mother too. I have the right to say it. I mean, after all, she left me in an orphanage for dead, just because I looked different. And, like, he's in this form, and so, like, he just breaking all of their bones. And, like, All Might, he comes out there and tries to restrain him, and he's like, "No, let me have our family squabble." And, like, he's yelling this at him, and All Might's like, "No, you're going to kill them. Don't act like a villain." And, like, he hears this, and he just gets sent into a blind rage. Like, he just, villain. Like, gunshot, like, shots fired, like, and he just goes into his mix. So, like, this, the red flames coming out of his hair, red electricity, and the fire, and the other stuff that I said he had on his hands. And then, yeah. So, electricity, fire, the hardening, but, he's just beating the crap out of all of them. And, like, they're trying to restrain him and stuff. And, like, Uraraka, she touches him and makes him float, and he's like, "Ah!" And, like, he just uses his chains to ground himself to the ground. And, like, at this point, he's wailing on Izumi. And, like, Izuku, he's trying to get Deku off of her, because at this point, he's already exploded her skull. Like, her head already, like, burst open like a grenade. So he's just wailing on her body, like, sorry, I can't do longer aura bursts, but, yeah. Just straight up. And, like, he brings her back to life and just explodes her head one more time, and then brings her back to life, and then just wails on Izuku, who does the same thing to him. And then he's like, and, like, they called Todoroki, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to give this man a kiss. We need him to mellow out for a minute." Like, And, like, she comes up behind him and he, like, wraps her arms around him and she's like, hey, it's alright. Don't be mad. It'll all be okay. And, like, he just stopped punching. He healed her and he's like, sorry. And he just, cause like he was on his knees. And so he just stands up and he's like, sorry for the inconvenience, Shota. And like Shota, she's 6'7", so she's taller than Ida. So, like, I need her to at least, no, she's 7'1". 2 foot height difference. Because in my journal that I have for love interests, there always needs to be a 2 foot height difference. So if the guy's 5 feet, the chick needs to be 3 feet. But yeah. So she's 7 foot. And he just kisses her, like he goes into his base form, kisses her, and says, I'm sorry. She's like, that's alright. And like, Izumi, she has the gall to open her mouth, and she says, yeah, that's right, you better back off, you demon, or else we're gonna hurt you. And like, Bakugo, he like just got done with his test, and so he's like, yeah, don't you dare hurt my girlfriend ever again. And like Deku, he just, like, his eyes blare red, and like he goes into Kirishimo's unbreakable state. Like he goes into unbreakable, and he just straight up puts his hands around their neck, slams them down, and just stomps them out, New York style. Pop, pop. Squash, 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 like, just, it ain't pleasant for them, and, like, for Bakugo, he just kept kicking that nigga in the dick. He can't have kids no more. But, yeah. And so, darn it, I probably should do a holiday special. I'll think about it. But, so Deku, he leaves, and first day at UA, Deku, he's the first person to get to 1A, and he's the first person to get to class 1A, and so, like, he just, like, okay, so, this ain't gonna do, because, like, he sees the way that he has all the desks arranged. He's like, ain't gonna do. So, what Deku does is he has the, he puts the desks, like, into pods. And so, like, he put Shota's in front of his. But, anywho, this is also 18 plus because of gore reasons. Sorry, I just got the hiccups. Okay. So, Deku, he go and sorry about this. I can't breathe. Alright. Sorry. So, he goes. Anyway, everybody else, they get to Class 1A. And, like, they're all like, hey, this villain got into our class. And all that stuff. But Kirishima, he deems Deku as an idol because he has a similar quirk to his. And Kirishima, he already has Unbreakable. Because Kirishima, my nigga. Come here, Enzo. Come here. Enzo, come here. Sorry, that's my little cousin. I love him as if he were my son. But anyhow, love you too, Enzo. But anyhow, so Deku, he just about had it with being called a villain, and like he's about to beat the crap out of everybody. And Kirishima's like, he's not a villain. He's my idol for a reason. It's because he hasn't given up. It's because he never, ever stops fighting. It's because he has enough strength and enough will to go on, even though he always gets slandered by people. That's what a hero should be like. And like, Deku, he walks up to him, and he's like, I like you. And he's like, nigga, I'll swing that way. And he like, not like that, as a friend. Real name, Deku Midoriya. No. He changed his name to Spawn. Real name, Spawn. And they hear Spawn, and like, Izumi's like, no, your real name's Deku. Cause that's all you'll ever be, a shitty Deku. And he's like, shut up. You may be my sister, but I'll kill you. It won't ever matter. And they're like, you're the sister of the demon? Do you have his quirks and powers too? And she's like, no. He's the only person in our entire family that's like that. He's the only person in the world that's like that, actually. And Kirishima's like, so that makes him rare. That's another reason not to hate him. Because he's the only type of person that's like that. Because he's the only person that has enough gall to make fun of every villain and every evil and laugh at it in its face. And Deku, he just like, preach, my nigga, preach. Like, continue. Like, I've been slandered for so long, I needed to hear this. And so, Deku, he go, and like, they're having the quirk assessment test. He flicks the ball. Easily. 377 sets of infinity. And there are these things called sets of infinity They're far greater than infinity. But, yeah. And so, he gets first place. And so, he gets first place in everything. Like, and he's like, this is such a drag. Such a drag. I don't even have to try for this. And as I was like, alright. You wanna show everybody to their dorm spawn? He's like, yep. And so, he goes, shows everybody to their dorms, and like, him and Kirishima, they share a room. So, bunk bed, I'm gonna do another thing from one of my other what ifs, from What If Deku Was Genji. Go check that out. Because if you see this video and you've never seen me, subscribe. Oh yeah, by the way, did you know that 86.1% of you are not subscribed? But, anywho, so, the floor is a mattress. It's basically the same setup as the Genji video, so, watch that. Specifically part 2 to see, but hey, watch part 1 so that you get where we start off in Genji. Or was it Spawn? I don't remember. Or yeah, it was Genji. But yeah, I'll be doing part 3 of that right after this. But anyway, this is where I'm going to end the video off. Have fun, mortals. Today might just be your last. Merry Christmas. I'll do a Christmas special on Christmas.